So you just spent, what, like 3 hours tweaking every single bullet point on your resume, right?
Oh, yeah. We've all been there.
Right. And you check every date, you adjust the margin so it fits perfectly on one page, and you finally hit apply for this role that you know you are absolutely perfectly qualified for.
Exactly.
And then like 12 hours later, you get this generic rejection email. Or honestly, worse, you get absolutely nothing. Just total silence.
Yeah, the ghosting.
The ghosting. And you just sit there thinking like, wow, the recruiter looked at my life's work, laughed, and just tossed it straight in the bin. But the truth, a human being never even saw your name.
Never even glanced at it.
Right. Today, we are pulling data from Whack-A-Wave, JobScan, Top Resume, and Ladders to look at why, like, 75% of resumes are completely vaporized by software before a human eye ever even gets a chance to look at them. So welcome to the deep dive where we're dismantling mechanics of the resume black hole.
Yeah, that 75% statistic, it usually stops people dead in their tracks. Because the psychological toll of the modern job hunt is just immense.
Oh, totally. It's exhausting.
Right, you send your application out into the void, and that lack of response, it feels like a deeply personal rejection of your skills, your career, your worth. But if you actually look at the industry research, the rejection you're feeling isn't a human judgment of your qualifications at all.
Which is wild.
It is. The vast majority of the time, it's just a rigid algorithmic issue.
And I feel like that immediately changes the entire context of applying for a job, right? Like, if 3 out of every 4 applicants are just being filtered out by a piece of software, we aren't really applying to companies anymore.
No, you're not.
We're submitting data to applicant tracking systems, the ATS. I mean, I've definitely had to create, like, I don't know, dozens of accounts on Workday or Greenhouse portals just to submit one single application.
Yeah, and those are the massive enterprise platforms that basically dominate the space. Workday, Greenhouse, Taleo, Lever, Isomens. And the paradigm shift for the job seeker is understanding that when you upload your PDF to one of these platforms, the ATS does not open your resume like a document to be visually read.
Right. It doesn't look at it like a piece of paper.
Exactly. It ingests your resume as raw data. The software's first objective is to literally strip the text out of whatever formatting you've used and attempt to slot that text into its own internal database fields.
Oh, wow.
So want your name in one specific field, your email in another, your work experience neatly organized by date.
Okay, so it's basically eating the file as raw material, trying to, like, digest the useful bits. Which means if I spent 3 days agonizing over this beautiful Canva template.
Oh, no.
Right, with the sleek 2-column designs and the little phone and envelope icons next to my contact info, the software just does not care.
Well, it's actually much worse than the software simply not caring. The industry data from Top Resume shows that 40% of resumes fail right at this initial extraction phase.
Wait, 40%?
Almost half. Almost half of all applicants are knocked out immediately, not because they lack skills, but because their formatting actively breaks the parsing process.
Okay, hold on. I need to push back on this. Because if Workday and Taleo and Greenhouse are these multi-million-dollar enterprise software platforms used by the biggest Fortune 500 companies on Earth, how is it possible that their tech is defeated by a basic 2-column PDF? Like, that makes no sense to me. We have AI that can drive cars, but HR software can't read a table?
I know, it sounds ridiculous, but it comes down to how legacy text extraction engines actually function. An ATS parser typically reads horizontally, straight across the page from left to right.
Okay.
It doesn't possess visual spatial awareness. Yeah. So if you have a 2-column resume, let's say your skills are in a narrow left column. Yeah. And your work experience is in a wider right column.
Which is super common.
Very common.
Yeah.
But the parser reads line 1 of your skills directly into line 1 of your work experience. It merges completely unrelated sentences.
Oh, I see. It's like taking a meticulously plated Michelin star meal and just throwing it straight into a blender before tasting it.
That is exactly it.
The machine only cares about the raw ingredients. So it's going to blend the steak, the mashed potatoes, and the plastic garnish all together. And if you put a non-standard icon or like a complex table layout into that blender, it just jams the blades.
That is the perfect mechanical analogy. The machine sees a chaotic jumble of letters and symbols because of how it flattened the columns or the tables. It decides it can't definitively find your chronological work history. And because these systems process thousands of applications, it doesn't, like, flag an error for a human to review.
It doesn't say, hey, this broke, can someone look at it?
Nope. It just quietly logs the profile as incomplete or unreadable, and you were effectively dead in the water.
Yeah, and that is heartbreaking. Because you have highly qualified candidates spending actual money on premium templates to stand out, and they are unknowingly sabotaging the extraction engine. Okay, so let's say I realize this, right? I strip out all the graphics. I use a boring single-column standard format, no tables, just straight text. The blender successfully processes the ingredients.
Good first step.
Right. But just because it can read the words doesn't mean it's impressed. How does the software actually judge my value?
So once the text is cleanly extracted, you hit the matching algorithm.
Okay.
The recruiter who set up the job posting configured a list of required skills, specific job titles, and mandatory years of experience. The ATS takes your parsed, flattened text and runs an alignment check against that required list, generating a numeric keyword score.
So it's assigning a literal grade to my career based on vocabulary.
Yep. And enforcing a strict threshold. Usually that threshold sits somewhere between 60% and 80%.
Wow.
If the system's keyword algorithm calculates that your parsed text falls below that line, you are automatically filtered out.
It's like a wildly rigid bouncer at an exclusive club. You could be the absolute best person for the role, but if you don't say the exact, highly specific secret password, the bouncer just stares at you blankly.
Yes.
Like if the job description requires customer service and my resume says client relations, a human manager knows immediately that's the exact same skill set. But a basic matching algorithm might just see a 0% match for that required string of text.
Depending on how aggressively the platform's taxonomy is calibrated. Yeah. Semantic misunderstandings happen constantly. And if you miss that numeric threshold, your application is pushed aside. To put the brutality of this filtering into perspective, the sources note that recruiters generally only review the top 5 to 10% of applicants who actually pass these initial algorithmic checks.
Wait, 5 to 10%. So for a role with 300 applicants, a human manager might only ever see 15 to 30 resumes?
Exactly.
Another 270 people are just locked out. And even for the lucky 15 who make that shortlist, it's not like the recruiter is brewing a cup of coffee and deeply analyzing their life story.
Not at all. Yeah. The time frame is shockingly small. According to an eye tracking study by Ladders, when a resume finally makes it past the extraction engine, past the scoring threshold, and onto a human screen, the recruiter spends an average of just 6 to 7 seconds reviewing it before making a yes or no decision.
6 to 7 seconds. That's less time than it takes to skip a pre-roll ad on a video.
I know.
The system demands total algorithmic perfection just to earn 6 seconds of human attention.
But wait, what happens to the 270 people who failed the threshold test? Do their resumes just get purged from the system?
They absolutely do not get purged, and this leads to what is arguably the most damaging mechanism